Hello everyone, my name is Ahorangi Bartlett and I'm a violet bright twin flame from Parakai, New Zealand. Thank you for liking and subscribing my channel. I love connecting with you and I love it when you're asking questions. So this video I'm making is answering a question about helping younger twin flames to better understand the connection and how they can work with it. So the first thing that I want to say about twin flame for the younger generation, like the crystal children, the rainbow children, even perhaps some of the indigo children, twin flame, the purpose of twin flame, these three waves of twin flames that has been coming in during this, say, century. So the first wave was in the 1930s, the second wave was during the 1950s, and the last wave was the 1970s. And what the twin flame purpose is, one of the things is to usher in the new way of the feminine and the masculine relating to each other, where the feminine isn't dominated by the masculine, and where the masculine isn't somehow dominated by the feminine, because we've had the reverse effect as well. So it was a little bit out of sync, okay? And so eventually everybody globally, on a global scale, will relate to each other in the new way, which is the unconditional way, okay? And this is what the twin flame is. It is bringing in that new template of energy so that we can relate to each other in an unconditional sense of love without any expectation. But with the first wave coming in during the 1930s, it was very hard, because it's like being the frontiers, going into the unknown and not having information to your disposal to actually help twins to get together. And some twins have been waiting like for 30 years to get together. And when we say waiting, it is like, I don't know what this is, stumbling around in the dark like most of us do, but instead with us having internet and other people to talk to, making it a bit easier. For the older generation, or the 1930s, 1950s, it was a whole lot harder to actually connect the dots to find out what is this connection. And so it's that groundbreaking work of breaking down the old programming of conditional relating, and I have done a video on this. I think it is in Twin Flame Mission, but just to recap quickly, it is about boy meets girl, girl meets boy, they fall in love. Boy goes off to work, he earns the bacon, girl stays at home, he brings back the bacon, she cooks it, raises the children, and clean the house. So there's an expectation, okay, between the masculine going out, earning the bacon, expecting the feminine to cook it. And then the feminine has the expectation that boy must bring home the bacon, otherwise there's no cooking, okay? But it's changed. It's changed to boy meets girl, girl meets boy. Girl is fully functional by herself. She doesn't need boy to do anything. Boy is fully functional by himself. He doesn't need girl to do anything. But they are together because they love each other, and they just give each other what they feel like. This is what I want to give you because it's what I give you. It's what is inside of me is permeating, it's overflowing to the outside of me. And there's no expectations, because it is giving from a place where you are whole, where you truly feel that you don't need anything. It's because you have everything, that is including love, acceptance, approval, that comes to self-love, self-acceptance, self-approval. And from that place, you give to the other person without expectation, and the other person gives back to you in the same way. In this way, there's no, it's just that constant even giving. It's giving each other. It's all about giving and just being open to receive and not expecting anything. Okay, so that's sort of like the new way of relating, that the masculine and feminine is trying to sort of figure out at the moment. And I have this faint suspicion that a lot of connections out there is not necessarily twin flame, but it's already the twin flame template that is being permeating through to a global scale, where people are starting to connect, to be with each other in that way. And I have sort of seen, especially with the younger generation, when I was working in pharmacy, it did happen like so often. Like mums or dads would come in with their littlies, about 3, 4, 5 years old, and they would say, well, I'm off to a play date now because, say, little Jason told me that he's met his future wife, and that he needs to have a play date with his future wife. Say her name's Daisy, and mum and dad will just have to befriend Daisy's parents, because Jason's decided he's going to marry Daisy one day when they're grown up. And the adults would think, oh, it's just a child, it's just little children, playing house or whatever. But for me, as a twin flame, it just happened too often. I worked in a small pharmacy. It wasn't a big pharmacy, so you can think percentage-wise, in such a small community, that I would have at least 6 cases. Same scenario, and these people don't know each other. Okay, so that sort of made me think, and it is like the new energy, like back in, like with the 30s, 50s, and 1970s, we were still very much indoctrinated in the old programming of that conditional love. But with the new energy coming in, with the age of Aquarius, it's returning to where we come from. It is just a state of being together because you know each other, you've known each other. And it's an instant recognition that this is my mate. It's like two doves. Two doves, they just end up together, and that's just the way it is. No questions asked. And with this new energy, this is sort of creating that energy where the institution of marriage is going to fall away eventually, because the institution of marriage don't serve us anymore. And I'm specifically speaking about the institution. I'm not saying that people shouldn't get married, or that marriage is a bad thing. This is not what I'm saying. It is about, if you ask yourself, where does marriage come from? Marriage was sort of something that was brought in for monetary gain, to keep money in the family. Rich families married rich families so they can keep it all together, and you know what I'm talking about. Just go back in history. I don't want to go too much into that, but that's basically how the marriage was. And if you look around today, marriages just don't last. And it is just that it's showing that signing a contract or drawing up a piece of paper and signing it does not seal the deal, doesn't make it forever, and doesn't make it last even this lifetime. But with twin flame energy, and this is why I say, if you go back and use a twin flame, she's the same higher self, same energy in two bodies. So that it just hammers that sort of connection home, that you are connected to this person, basically whether you like it or not. There are some twins out there that says, well, I really don't want to be with my twin, you know, I rather be with a soulmate because it's just too full on. And that is okay, because you have the freedom of will, okay? And when you are in a twin flame connection with somebody and you choose not to be with your twin and you rather want to go with a soulmate, that is perfectly okay. But in some cases, especially the very sensitive twins, the awakened twin, when they decide to go with a soulmate, they're still aware of that connection. It's a connection you can't sever it. You can't cut the higher self in two, because that's where the connection is. It's up here. Okay? So it is getting to know the energy of twin flame. It is getting to know, but what is it? And that is why, you know, for the younger people coming in, it's so much easier to recognize each other instantly, because the time that you were born in now is, the energy is much lighter. You know, it's not so set in the programming. Relationships are changing. You know, you don't have that strict sort of background. Well, in some cultures still, yes, that's very conservative, but because things are starting to loosen up socially, you know, that you don't have to get married, you can live with somebody, and you know what I'm talking about. Things are just much more relaxed, okay? And it makes it easier to, when you recognize somebody, to be with them. So there's a lot of things in our day and age which supports twins getting together and people going into the newer unconditional connections with each other. Okay, but one thing that I want to say to the young people, it is to realize that the twin flame is very high energy. It is most probably the most difficult connection that you will survive in this lifetime. Okay, it is life-changing. It changes you from the inside out. Once you start to go through those 7 stages of the twin flame, very few twin flames make it beyond the crisis stage. Okay? And it is the realization that it is a spiritual connection. It's not a romantic connection. So if you are the type of person who has notions about meeting somebody, falling in love, getting married, having children, get the house, get the dog, get the job, you know, and live the ordinary life that comes easy, then I can tell you now, twin flame is not for you. Okay? If that is the type of life you want, if that is what you dream about, and you want the white dress, you want the wedding, you want the party, and everybody being together, then 9 out of 10 times twin flame is not going to be for you if that is what you dream about. because there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a different journey. Okay? And I'm not saying that it isn't challenging. Any relationship is challenging because there's no such thing as a perfect relationship either. Okay? It is just a choice of whose underwear are you willing to wash, whose shoes are you willing to pick up, and without any judgment kind of thing. You just do it because you love this person, because that's where we're going. You just do it. And you don't moan about it. And this is from the feminine perspective. Okay. I always say, I choose my twin because I'd rather prefer picking up his shoes than anybody else's shoes. Without reservation and without any questions and without any moaning and groaning about it. Okay, and I'm not revealing my journey here. I'm just speaking figuratively because I need to protect my twin, because I love my twin, I respect my twin. So another thing that I also want to say to the young people concerning the twin flame is to realize that you can make those two choices. You can either do the 7 stages, which is bringing in healing for yourself. And I find that the younger you are, the sooner you realize the twin flame connection, the less work you need to do. Okay, this is very individual, but if you can think, you meet your twin maybe consciously when you're 21 instead of when you're 44. Okay, there's a lot less in this lifetime that you need to work through. But a friendly warning, it's not just in this lifetime, because I remember past lifetimes as well. Okay, so when you meet your twin, you're gonna go all the way back, way back. Okay, and if spaceships and star seeds and things like that freak you out, the 5D living and doing some astral traveling and stuff, if that kind of freaks you out, then just prepare yourself. If you're in a twin flame connection, you're gonna go there. Past life regression. Okay, working through past lives that didn't work out, releasing past life experiences. And remember that the connection between twin flame is very intense, because when you get triggered by your twin, you're not only releasing your own stuff, you are releasing through all the timelines for everybody. That is why everything is, when there's a trigger, it's blown out of proportion. Totally, it's like, it almost doesn't make sense, but there it is. It does get easier and easier with each triggering session to release, because it's you get the hang of it. Okay, where it used to take me a good sometimes 2 to 3 months in the beginning to work through something, now it maybe takes me a day or two. Okay, so it does get better, and there is a responsibility that comes with a twin flame. So you need to choose, do I want to go into my twin flame union? Am I devoted to my spiritual development, because it's about your spiritual development, because that's where your twin flame union is inside of you. Okay, and that's where all the work needs to be done, because you can't love somebody unconditionally if you don't accept yourself. If you can't love yourself in that way, then you can't love anybody else in that way. To be total peace with yourself, who you are, standing in your truth, and being accepting of everybody else around you who has issues, because let's face it, this life is not roses. Okay, if you have happy moments, then that's good, but I think we're all here to do some work. That's why we are here, and it's to realize the importance of of the union. If you do choose your twin, there's going to be work that needs to be done, okay, on yourself first. And it's going to ask you to focus on you, and it's going to ask you to focus globally. Okay, because there's a lot of things that we need to fix here. Gaia is crying out to us. And it's once we've established our mission, and we're fully into devoting ourselves, okay, that is starting out with the awakening, going through the testing, then the crisis, then this separation, surrender, radiance. I reckon once you get to the radiance stage, you will know what it's about. You will have your twin flame mission down pat, and you'll be rolling up your sleeves and you'll be doing the work every day, and you'll enjoy it. Okay, and not everybody is a healer or a clairvoyant or a psychic or something like that. I mean, twin flames, you could be somebody going, working for Greenpeace. You could be somebody who is saving dogs in China, preventing them from being tortured and stuff. So there's a lot of things that you can do. Even if you could be a twin flame who's just big into recycling. The smallest little thing that will contribute to everyday living will matter. Okay? So, and with that union comes responsibility. Know that it's not necessarily about you being physically together with your twin, because you're always together, same energy in two bodies. Okay, so it is going to ask you to explore the energy between you and your twin. It's going to ask you to get to know the energy, know what your union is about. You will see what your twin is doing, and you'll see what you are doing, and there's going to be a twin flame dance. But there's going to be, eventually you're going to see the possibilities of how you could truly work together as a team. Okay, but because there's so much work involved in healing the self, even if one twin is totally devoted, okay, you can't assume that your other twin is going to be on the same page with you, in a couple of years or whatever, because that is one thing. Each twin has their own journey, okay? They have their own way of growing. And it is in that unconditional love that I found the space to step back and to respect my twin for his journey as well, because it is a journey. And don't worry about the time factor. I think the factor of time is the thing that causes the most stress in twin flame. It's very important to live in the moment, now. Do now for yourself, so that you have a good tomorrow. Okay, when you start to worry about tomorrow and yesterday, that's when things gets really stressful. And to be in a twin flame union asks for maturity. To be a mature person, to be serious about it, because it's a spiritual connection. There's a mission here. There's work to be done. It is not about just having champagne on the beach and having good moments and holding hands and sharing life. You're living life on a bigger scale. Yes, it is to be together. I do believe that twins need to, it's time for us to get together, but the focus, especially of the awakened twin, should not be on being together with the twin. It is taking the responsibility for the mission, even though you are young, to realize that you can't go and sleep around, you can't go and have one-night stands. To me, being a healer and a clairvoyant, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't go to clubs, I don't go, I mean, like, I'm vegetarian. And I'm not saying that you should be giving up all those things. It's just that I know that I work with energy. I'm a healer. So my body is the facilitator of energy to bring in healing energy, be the conduit for healing energy for clients to come to see me. I'm also the conduit for clairvoyance. So the better I take care of myself, the better I can facilitate that energy and be of service. So that's why I say, to me, my twin flame union, this is the reason why I get up in the morning. Because I was born to do this. And so it is that responsibility, and it is just to realize that if you decide to go with your union, it's taking commitment. And having to be brave, because it means that there's going to be moments when you are going to have to look at yourself in the mirror and you're going to have to tell yourself, I love you no matter what. I love you in spite of A, B, C, D, and E, and I forgive all. Okay, and that is hard. It's when I started to look inside myself, when I could see how the misconceptions twisted my perceptions of life, of people, the expectations it created inside of myself of life and of people. It's when I started to see my wounds, my insecurities, my shortcomings, my dark side. It's a big ask to have a look at yourself and in everything that you think is imperfect. Okay, but you can watch Dark Night of the Soul. It's all about just befriending every aspect of you, making peace with it, and know that you are perfect as you are. Your dark side and your light side. And that there's responsibility that comes with taking those journeys inward. Because I find when we're young, we don't want to take those journeys. We're distracted by being hanging out with our friends and going on holidays and that. Being in twin flame and doing the work asks for being isolated. Asks for spending a lot of time by yourself, because it is you reconnecting with yourself. And it's once you're reconnected with yourself, that is when you can go outside and connect again with the world. It's not an easy thing to do, and sometimes life will support that isolation, and sometimes life will force it onto you. If you don't want to do it, it's going to put you in a room and it's going to make people not like you, so that you're forced to spend time by yourself. And another thing about children, I know this is quite a long video, but I just want to say for the young people out there, if you meet your twin, and say your twin is divorced, but they have small children, or there's somehow children involved, okay? The most beautiful thing that I want to tell you is that those children will recognize you. They will gravitate towards you. Because if you're say for instance a masculine twin, and I'm talking, when I say masculine, I mean it could be lesbian, could be gay, could be transgender. There's no sexual orientation when it comes to twin flame. Okay, but basically what I say is, if there's a masculine twin meeting a feminine twin who has children, or they both have children, their children will recognize each other. They will recognize the energy in the other person coming into their life, because it's the same energy. Okay, so the masculine's children will recognize the feminine because it's the dad's energy inside the feminine, so they'll feel at home. They'll gravitate towards the new connection because it feels like their biological mother, it feels like their biological father. And that is the beauty of this kind of energy. So there's a lot of blessings that come with it, but it's hard work. It's hard work. And it's just about you making that choice. What type of life experience would you like? Do you want a deep, meaningful, spiritual connection that is going to test your mettle? Or would you like a deep, meaningful soulmate connection, which will have its challenges, but not necessarily put you through those crisis stages, crisis and surrender and testing, which is most probably the most challenging. So I hope this answers the questions that young people might have concerning twin flame. But if there are any other young people out there, no matter what your age, because young is a relative concept, you could be 85 and still be young. Please leave a comment. I love answering your questions and I'm happy to help. If you want to contact me, click on the links below. It will take you to my website or my Facebook page or my email. Thank you for watching my video. Light and love, everyone.